What is going on, guys? Predator458 here, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to a game that I've never featured before. Today we are in Arma 3, where I wanted to do a relatively quick video, a quick mod showcase if you will, maybe a little bit of a tutorial on what you see in front of me right here, the AH64D Apache Longbow mod. This is the official project mod that you can find on the Steam workshop. The link to the mod will be down in the description below. If somehow you're an Arma player and you've not seen this mod, you don't know about this mod, it's really awesome. Let me just tell you that out of the gate. I am so impressed with this mod, and that is part of the reason why I wanted to do a video on it. So let's first things first, where am I going? Got track IR on, so just making sure it's lined up with my character. But just look at this mod, just look at the detail. They've done such an amazing job with recreating the Apache Longbow in the game. Now there are a few other mods that add this particular attack helicopter, but I think you'll soon see why this is the one that deserves more than anything to have a shout out and a bit of a mod showcase. Now when you download this mod, you do get two versions of the helicopter. You get the AH64D Apache Longbow with the fire control radar on top, and then you do get the normal one, which I've just placed down here a little bit further away than I had expected, and Arma 3 is stuttering a little bit. But as you can see, this is the same one, just without the radar. Now this is something that I learned. I'd always thought that the AH64D Longbows all had the radars, but apparently they don't. They can be with or without, but in a way it's also could be true, because initially the D without the radar on top was designated the C. So in the mid-90s that was the C, this was the D, and then because the radars were interchangeable, they just decided to drop the C designation and name them all the D. So part of this video is just going to be as I said, a little showcase, a little introduction to the mod, and a little bit of a tutorial about how to fly it, because as you'll see soon enough, this is not like all the other helicopters in Arma 3. Now before we get going, just a little bit of clarification. I am a complete Arma noob, especially with helicopters. I have literally no idea what I'm doing in terms of flying them in any kind of proficient way, but I've had so much fun with this mod, I really just wanted to do a video and share it with you guys. So let's go and hop in as the pilot. Now the big thing with this mod is that it has a clickable cockpit, so kind of like DCS World. Not as in depth as DCS, but I mean you can already see like just the level of detail in the cockpit, the effort that they've put into making this mod is absolutely fantastic. Like, props, 10 out of 10, you know, to the guys who made this. I believe this was originally made for Arma 2 and it was ported over and obviously upgraded, but they've done just such a fantastic job. Now that green X that you see in the center of my screen, that is your you know, your cursor for clicking on various items within the cockpit. So let's just close these doors and we're gonna get started. Now before I fire up, just a little bit about the system that I'm using. I am using a Logitech X56 HOTAS in a kind of little custom sim pit that I built with two of the Thrustmaster F16 Cougar MFD thingamadoodads, which I've got mapped, some of the buttons mapped onto it. Now I'll throw up on screen a bit of a picture from the mod page. There are a whole bunch, I think there's 20 custom controls that you need to go and map in order to effectively use this mod. And one of them, the most important one, is user control number 20, which is actually the clickable button action, if you will. So without mapping that, you won't be able to click on the buttons, and you won't be able to get this beautiful deliverer of freedom started and in the ground. I do also have the Logitech Pro Flight rudder pedals, which I will be using a little bit, but I also have the rudder, if you will, the pedals mapped to the twist on the joystick, so I can do a bit of both as I want to do. Now you do need to use this mod with the advanced flight model. That's according to the documentation. You can do it in the standard one, it will work but they recommend and they say, like, if you don't want to experience any bugs, you should use the advanced flight model. So that's what we are going to be doing today. So first part of this video, apart from drooling over this amazing attack helicopter, is just a bit of a tutorial on how to get it started, and then we'll fly around a bit and I'll just talk a little bit about it, and we'll see where the rest of the video takes us. So first thing we're going to want to do, the user button custom control action 20 is mapped to one of the buttons on the joystick. So first thing we're going to want to do is turn the battery on, which is this switch here. Click it and you can see all our systems have come on. We've still got the rotor brake on. So the next thing I'm going to do is turn that off, which is there. Next is we've got to start the APU, that button there, and now you'll hear it come to life. The sounds in this are also really, really well done. It's such an amazing job. I almost can't believe this is, user-made mod content. So the APU is now started, and we can now go and fire up the engine, starting with the left engine, which is engine number 1, and that's now going to start coming to life. You can hear the beast begin to awaken from its slumber, and once it gets up to 23.0 here, you then come to this control slider and bring the left engine up to idle. Once you do that, you can then start the right engine, which is hidden behind that lever. You can move around a bit to see it, and there our rotor blades start going. Right engine is almost at 23, it's now at 23, so we can bring that one online too. And it really does get quite loud and noisy in here, but it's just awesome. It adds to the experience and the immersion. So while we wait for that, this process does take a little bit of time, so it's not like the standard helicopters in Arma where they sort of spin up and are ready to go within 30 seconds. Again, just far more realistic. So I think we can probably turn the APU off now. Let's get the track. Yeah. And then I'm going to cycle the MFD, the right MFD, with one of my buttons on the Cougar. Now this is your fire control radar page. These are just all your faults and that sort of thing. This is your ASE page, which is aircraft survivability, something or other. We're just going to change this as something that I just have been doing, change this here. So it's going to automatically pop up onto this page as soon as we start getting tracked. We're going to change our jammers to standby, not that we need to, there's no enemies in this, this mission, but it's always a good practice to get into. And yeah, she's nearly ready to go. The last thing we need to do is bring the engine power up to flight power. Now this is where there's a little bit tricky, because everything looks fine, nothing's changing, but sometimes it doesn't always. There we go, it's worked fine. Sometimes it doesn't always go straight up to power. You've got to click around there and wait a little bit longer. And as soon as this turns green, this 85, it'll go green, and then technically we can take off, but ideally you should wait until it gets to 101 or 103. 101, there we go. So we are ready to go. We'll just switch this over to the weapons page. And we are ready for takeoff, and let's hope and pray that I don't mess this up spectacularly. So just bringing in the power nice and gentle. Oh, actually before, let me just power down. You can also bring up your little monocle here and display important flight information on your little heads-up display. So this will give us how much torque we're using, our climb rate, where the gun is pointing, all that sort of thing. Quite important to have. So let's get her up in the air nice and gently. As you can see, I'm not very good at the actual flying part just yet, but it's still a lot of fun. And let's actually zoom out. I always forget to zoom back out after I've zoomed in. But she flies really, really well. I mean, this is one of those mods that really captures, if you imagine what it could be like to actually fly something like this, you know, just like DCS does. You know, it really helps to put you, you know, in the pilot seat. And this mod, you know, that does it for me. I actually downloaded this because I had this urge to play a game where I could be in an attack helicopter like the Apache and just mess shit up. And I saw this mod and I just knew I had to give it a go. But I'm still very much learning, as I said, in terms of actually flying it. I'm not very good, and I have no idea how to employ the weapon systems all that much. But it's been really, really good fun. And you know, flying when you're actually in the air and moving forward and that sort of thing is really easy. It's very much like a fixed wing aircraft, which is what I'm far more used to flying in DCS world. Not done a whole lot of rotary wing stuff, but once you're actually up in the air, it's really nice and easy. It's just the sort of the fine controls at slow speed that I am currently struggling with, which may be a little bit to do with the joystick, because the X56s are kind of a bit stiff and that around the center points. My old Thrustmaster T1600M would have probably been much easier for helicopter flight, but I like it. You know, it's X56 is a pretty good HOTAS package for a very reasonable price if you can't afford the Thrustmaster Warthog, which I was unable to do with how much that thing costs in South Africa. It's pretty much twice the price of the X56. But yeah, so what else can I show you? We can turn on the head tracking. So here you can, no, not that button. So here is the sort of the TADS view, I guess, from the, you know, the pods up front. This is where I'm not entirely sure how to operate it, because this is all I seem to be able to get. But I have seen previous YouTube videos on this where they were able to zoom in and that sort of thing, to fire the Hellfire missiles and that sort of that weaponry. And I'm not sure if that has been removed from the mod now, and that all has to be done by the gunner up front. So I'm not sure. So if you know, please let me know in the comments down below. And then we can switch gun tracking on and just get rid of that. We'll turn manual fire on and switch weapons. So one of the cool things that you can do as the pilot is switch the gun tracking on, and it will track your head, which is quite cool if you want to lay down some freedom on lightly armored targets, trucks, men, that sort of thing. But it's, yeah, as I said, it's really, really good fun to fly. I'm really enjoying trying to learn this helicopter and learn how to fly it, and especially, as I said, the slow speed controls can be a little bit difficult, and you know, sometimes I guess helicopters just do counterintuitive things. You think that one set of inputs is going to do one thing, but it actually lands up doing something completely different, and you crash and die in a horrible ball of fire and death. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for what I just wanted to cover in this video. Just wanted to put this out there, just highlight it for anyone who happens to not know about it and stumbles across my video somehow. We'll try and bring it into land, and I'll do my very best. A little bit of a Arma 3 stutter there. I'll do my very best to not completely fuck this up, but no promises. And yeah, I mean, if you would like to see more Arma 3 content on my channel, please feel free to let me know in the comments down below, and give the video a thumbs up, and that'll also let me know how the video has been received. But as I said, I am a complete and utter Arma noob. I bought the game years and years and years ago, but it's always been one of those games that I want to get involved in, but I've just never found the time to actually really properly learn the game and that sort of thing. So this is what I'm talking about, where I'm just not very good at like the fine tuning of the controls at slow speed, you know, coming into landing and that sort of thing. But I'll get there, I haven't been practicing that much. A little bit more power, we don't want to crash into the ground and ruin our lovely Apache. As I said, you know, there is that second version over there if you want to fly it without the fire control radar. It is exactly the same. You just won't be able to employ the radar Hellfires or use the fire control radar to find and designate targets. So there we go. It's actually it's drifting a little bit, and we'll put her down right here. She will just lose this last little bit of altitude, and there we go. Nice gentle touchdown, kind of on the grass, I think, or on the runway. But yeah, so that's it for this video. If you enjoyed, please feel free to hit the thumbs up button and consider subscribing for more videos. You can also catch me on Twitch, live streaming from time to time. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, that's it from me. This is Predator 458 signing off. And I'll see you guys next time.